Well, how's it going, JDM crew? John from JDM EXPO here with another inventory video. And if you're new here, this happens to be a Lancer Evolution. If you're interested in something else, definitely check out our other videos. We have plenty of inventory videos, many of which are no longer here. So if you are looking for something in particular, just contact our sales team. We have the contact information down below in the description. And here we go. And those of you right off the bat probably already noticed that there is some mods here. Definitely the color scheme is not original. Whoever owned it before customized things here. I think it was supposed to be red and it's faded because it seems to be like orangish now. Unless that's what they intended in the first place, because some of the trim looks to be like orange and black. Which I guess when it was newer probably looked a lot better. But for now, you know, it is what it is at this point in time. There is a modified stereo system, so we do have different speakers and tweeters. They do seem to have some small preamps there, just different connections here, so I'm not sure what all of it is, but we do have a small, or I wouldn't say that's small, we do have an amp which is actually right behind you guys, and some larger speakers which I believe are 5.5, or they could be 6 1/4, I am not sure. But it is a modified stereo system, and we have an Alpine audio deck here. I thought it was going to be a Navi system, but I think it's just oh yeah, it is Navi. There it is. Yeah, I got it working. So we do have that as well. For those of you in Japan, this would obviously be a lot more helpful, but knowing that you have at least a 2-DIN, you know, stack here where you could put a larger system is at least helpful to know. We do have a couple of gauges here. The oil temperature gauge is currently not reading, but the other temperature gauges are showing me that it's fine. It's just, I think this one has a loose connection. These are DEFI gauges, so we do have water temperature and boost, so you can see the boost is a little bit more responsive there. And as you can probably hear, we do have a modified exhaust. Actually, I think this might be the OEM one though. You know, one of those rally style ones, because we do have a lot of rally art components on this car. And as you can hear, a little whoosh there. We do have an intake system on here, and I'm not so sure how much modifications there are to the exhaust. There are just some minor upgrades here and there, mainly to kind of open it up a little bit. We do have suspension and other things, but you know, the Evos from the factory had plenty of parts as it was. And yeah, so far ride has actually been really comfortable. Haven't had any issues with that. Transmission's been really good and treating me properly here. Clutch must be OEM. I'm not 100% sure if they had ever replaced it somewhere along the way, but I think it's like an OEM replacement because it doesn't feel like a stage one at all. So still nice and smooth. So yeah, getting up to highway speeds is not an issue here. I'm 5th gear, roughly like 45, 50 miles an hour, no issues there. Overall, like really smooth. For those of you guys that are unfamiliar with the Evos, yeah, the regular Lancer ain't got nothing on it, just so you know. It's certainly a much better platform. Obviously, you got the 2.0 turbo 4-wheel drive, all that goodness, you know, between the STIs and Evos. It's a good time. Well, for this one in particular, we've got Momo steering wheel, and I'm not sure the brand of this shift knob, but they definitely replaced the other one with a like smaller. I'm not really sure why. Usually the Momo or Recaro ones are pretty comfortable, but this one is kind of just like quick response. And of course, you can also see they did have some other components here. I think the previous owner had a couple of other items there, like a gauge and things, but that's gone now. I'm surprised they actually left the audio deck, because typically that's something that a lot of previous owners will take out right off the bat. But yeah, for the interior with some of these colored components, at least the carpets are still original and the seats. So we do have these Recaro seats here. So I actually have some harnesses on mine, but not really sure about which regulations that would actually fit. I think they did it more for style. But yeah, all in all, pretty good running. We've got about 182,000 kilometers on here, and really this is from the North Country, so up in Hokkaido, basically the Texas of Japan, but I guess you could call it somewhere between Texas and Alaska, because it is the biggest part here. Very, very cold in the wintertime. So as you can tell there, quite the boost, really nice and smooth through the whole RPM, but definitely pulls a little bit more on the top end. That's definitely the difference between the earlier Evos and then the mid and later ones. So a little bit more on the high end there, but much more responsive since we do have the better intake on this, and you can hear it, which just kind of adds to the experience. And as I was mentioning earlier about Hokkaido, you know, the Texas of Japan, you know, there's Hokkaido symbols everywhere. Very proud. Awesome place, by the way. Definitely recommend visiting if you're ever out here. Yeah, it's a little bit rougher in the winters, and so rust concerns start to rise whenever you find vehicles like in the Sendai and North regions, just because they do have harsher weather. So a little bit on the rust concerns, so there's a little bit on this, but that is a known thing, so we'll definitely get into it and look around. So overall though, like the exterior, mostly in pretty decent shape in terms of like all the clear coat all around, and yeah, there's some other rough spots, but I mean overall it's still really good running condition. Whoever had it before definitely did take care of it. So we'll look around here once we get to the warehouse, and I'll show you guys around. Well, all right, here we are with the interior, and as you can see, the Recaro seat here, and Focal Audio is the brand there. There's actually like an old faded sticker on the side also, so definitely a thing here. But no other details other than this Alpine audio deck. And that was the Navi system that we were looking at earlier. And this one is from Carbring, and I think we could see the logo right there. See? And it's like a billet aluminum shift knob. So, and of course we have this Momo race steering wheel. So a little bit worn, as you could tell there, but all in all pretty good. And so here's the mileage though. We got that, as you can see, the 182 there. So a little over 100,000 miles. Alpine audio deck, good to go there. And yeah, climate control's working, so that's all well and good. And here's the condition of the dash here, which no cracks or anything in there, but we do have the missing panel here, which they actually have the little what do we got, a couple of wires for the audio jack and for the audio system on this side, and so they tucked it in there and they put some other gauges, it seemed, at the time. And of course I can look over here, you can see the other speaker there, so they definitely had things wired up. And if you look in the back, it's definitely an amp back there, so we'll look at that in a second. Door panels are a little bit on the rough side though, so definitely a bit more wear on this one, but it is a genuine Evo, so whoever had it before definitely enjoyed it more than some of the other ones we've got that were much lower mileage. They literally drove this a lot, but Hokkaido is really big, so definitely a lot more driving is done up that way. So you can see the carpets though are in decent shape. Now you got more of that harness action there. So, and here we can have a look at the speaker setup. And the amp. And the seats right there. No sag in the dash. I'll just take a quick look at the exterior here. And so I know that they definitely retouched the paint at some point, or at least the clear coat on some parts. Not sure if they changed the color long ago, but they did touch up the red paint. So it looks pretty good so far. And we got the NK wheels there, and snow tires actually. Being from Hokkaido, I'm not surprised to see a more active use of snow tires. The NKs are alright, they're not all super scraped up, but over the years they've seen quite a lot of dirt. So they've had those on there for a while, even the Brembos, as you can see. Now the suspension is definitely modified. We've got Tane suspension, which I'll show you guys in the front. So I'll pop the hood and trunk and we'll have a look around some more. And so here we got a Rockford Fosgate. I think that's a 12. So just a single weight. Is that 10 or 12? I don't have any imperial measuring tape here, so I do apologize. And of course, you can see here a little bit of the wiring. So they have everything. So you can see the Karo's area speakers here. That Mew Glow Japan. So they've probably got some good capacitors on that. And of course some of the speaker wires attached to that. And the tops of the suspension there. So you can see the coilovers. That's a little bit of green. I'll show you up in the front. You can see it a lot better. So it's Tane. And just so you guys have a view of, we do have some of the tools, but no longer have the spare on this one. And do have some braces and stuff there too for keeping the chassis stiffened. Of course, underneath here, you have that exhaust, which does look like it was replaced at some point because the OEM one's a little bit different, I think. Because some of the other ones, given the age of the vehicle, this would have been rusted out and replaced at some point. So definitely a smoother tone to it. It's definitely more mellow than the OEM one. So, and now for under the hood. So you can see we got that vented hood goodness here, as you would expect from an Evo. And as you can see, we got some Rally Art stickers and some other stuff there. And they already removed the shielding, which that would have already rusted out long ago. So now you just see the cast iron manifold there. And a lot of random doodads here and there. So we do have the HKS exhaust there. We do have that grounding kit, you can see with that battery going down to the turbo. Get that compressed going around towards the front mount intercooler here. And it does have the little spray function on the inside, following up here to the intake manifold. More boost, more power. Zoom zoom, and down to the exhaust that you can see down there. And here's some additional info here for you guys looking for them numbers. And that CP9A. So I'm not 100% sure on the color though, if it was silver or red, or they just wanted it to look like a Tomy Mackinnon edition. But there you go. So they did replace some of the like random shielding parts. There's like some shielding over here and some like foil shielding on top of some of the sensors, so they're trying to protect some of that. And like I mentioned about Hokkaido having those brutal winters, there's a little bit of rust spots. But they did touch up and seal parts over the years, so they definitely tried to make it last. Some parts around like the battery not lasting as well. But this is also exposed more because they do have a duct for the cool air to reach the intake. And of course, yeah, for the suspension, you can see we got the Tane suspension here, the tops of that. But all in all, it's been good running. Definitely reminds me a little bit more of having to have a car up in the Northeast. So you guys in the Mid-Atlantic or in the Northeast would understand that they definitely go through a lot. So Hokkaido weather is actually more brutal than that. So, but all in all, that good old rally performance. But yeah, I mean, they definitely kept the coatings good and refreshed it from time to time, which you do need to do in that harsher weather. There you have it, folks. Another fine addition to the JDM Expo inventory. Now, as I mentioned, hopefully you guys got some of that information about Hokkaido. A little bit more rough up north, but we get a lot of different cars at varying conditions there. This one, it's been through a lot, but it's also been taken care of, you know, especially considering the mileage, reasonably well. And if you're looking for this or any other vehicles, just contact our sales team, info@jdm-expo.com. And definitely, if you wanted to get some work done, get some upgrades, you wanted to go a little faster, or just freshen things up, we definitely can do stuff at our shop, or we do have partners all across Japan. If you need certain tuning, certain parts, and other things, we can definitely get that for you. Just hit up our sales team. They'll let you know all about that, and they can get you a quote, get some details. And due to the conditions worldwide, it is a bit tougher to schedule some of that stuff. So sometimes, yeah, we've actually had to wait a little bit for some work to be done. And as you've seen through some of our other videos, if you check like the Stealth Black and some of the other like R32s and 33s, yeah, we do get some work done, and it takes a little bit of time, but definitely well worth it in the end. So definitely, if you wanted a little bit more rally performance, get a cage installed or something like that, get your cars prepped, we got you covered. All right, as always, guys, thanks for stopping by, and definitely stay safe wherever you are in the world. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.